kind of building up my endurance, try to mix in some more working on like my cut kicks, head kicks,
Yeah.
just different stuff now that my endurance is finally getting up. So trying to mix it up, trying to make the 1,000 kicks more of a good variety now.
Okay. And what about nutrition? Do you specifically work on nutrition, or do you eat what you like?
Well, I was eating what I like, but now that I'm, starting to finally get really consistent with my routine, I'm starting to work on my nutrition, especially if it's before a competition. I cut weight, so I have to make sure my nutrition is definitely on point along with my training. So, yeah, I would say before, like, the last couple of months, I was a little more loose with my diet.
Yeah.
But now that I'm finally starting to get a little bit more strict with my training, now I'm starting to tighten up my diet, which I think kind of goes hand in hand. Like the more I train, the more I want to eat healthy, actually. So,
Okay.
so it actually helps. So now that I'm training more, it's a little bit easier to kind of stay eating cleaner too.
Okay. There are a couple of athletes that we've spoken to who actually maintain a vegan diet. Are you a vegan or not?
No, I don't think I could ever be vegan.
How do you think that would affect your training? Do you think that you can train at the same level?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I just think it'd be really hard for me to eat a vegan diet. I can be,
Okay,
I
fair
can be
enough.
kind of picky. So,
Hmm.
I think it would just be really hard. It would add another level of being strict for me. And I think, I don't know if I can handle that.
Look, you must be a pretty strict disciplinarian if you can manage the 1,000 kick challenge. I'm going to try it myself.
You
And if
should,
I
you
get
should.
injured, I'm blaming you.
No liability on me.
I've got some witnesses, I'll just let you know. So, outside of Taekwondo, what do you do? What do you do to relax?
Uh, so other than Taekwondo, I mean, my whole life basically revolves around if I'm either teaching, I'm either training, or I'm either filming for YouTube, editing, doing something for social media on the computer.
Hmm.
I've recently, my husband's starting to teach me how to play tennis since it's starting to get nice outside, so I kind of do a little
Yeah.
bit of that. Other than that, like I'll just be completely lazy and just lay on the couch and just scroll through social media.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Do you do
Yeah.
you, do you own Netflix?
Yes, we'll watch a little bit of TV sometimes. I don't really watch too much. I usually just watch stuff on YouTube sometimes.
No.
But yeah, I'm trying to learn how to relax a little bit more. I'm usually kind of the person that's like really like busy. Try to stay busy. It's either on or I'm either off, and I'm just like laying around.
It's funny that you say that because again, a lot of the athletes that we talk to say a similar thing. They're very very busy people, and actually they don't seem to have that much time to relax.
Yeah.
And what do you say? You were teaching 5 days a week. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. So I'm teaching.
5 or 6?
I teach 5 days a week.
5 days a week. Gosh. Wow, it's incredibly impressive. I'm in awe. Now, a question that I tend to ask quite a lot of our interviewees: bucket list. Give me 3 things on your bucket list that you'd love to achieve before that eventful day. You've got plenty of time, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Bucket list. Um, I would say probably the first thing, what I've always wanted to do, as far as like competition wise, I want to compete on an international level. I want to
Hmm.
compete in another country, which I
Okay.
think I'm pretty close to achieving that in the next
Hmm.
year or so. So that's
Good.
definitely something I want to do. Um, um, Probably become a master one day.
Excellent. Yeah.
Um,
What Dan grade do you need to be in WT to be
for
deemed a master?
for my school in particular, a fifth dan. So
Okay.
I definitely have a ways to go. That'll
Okay.
definitely be somewhere in the later future.
Hmm.
Um,
In ITF, it's seventh Dan.
oh wow, really?
Yeah, to be deemed a master, you've got to be a seventh Dan.
Oh, okay, because I know some schools in WT, it's a fourth dan you're a master, but for our school it's fifth.
Okay, it's just interesting to see to understand the differences, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely different.
yeah, fourth in ITF Taekwondo, a fourth dan is an international instructor.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
you go from being, you know, an instructor to being able to teach anywhere in the world at fourth dan.
oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, but then you've still got another three dan grades to go through before you can say that you're a
Yeah,
master.
yeah. That's definitely a lot.
So probably another 10 or 12 years after that before you're anywhere close. And
Yeah.
what would the third thing be?
Um, I would say just more. It's more of a general thing, just being able to travel and see different parts of the world.
Yeah. Where's the best place that you've traveled to, do you think?
So I've never been out of the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Not yet.
definitely want to go, definitely want to travel out of the U.S. Eventually, I would say within the U.S. I
Mhm.
enjoyed California, going to
Okay.
L.A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So so it would be a real big thing then if you manage to do an international competition. That will be pretty amazing
Yeah,
because
that'll knock off a couple things.
yeah, yeah, you know, two things in one trip.
Yeah, definitely.
What happens if you come back with the win as well? That's it. Your life's complete.
Oh yeah, yeah. That'll be everything. That'll be everything.
We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can organise.
Yeah.
So who else do you train with?
So I just train with a couple of the other instructors.
Hmm.
So the school that I'm with, we actually have four separate locations. The
Okay.
location I'm at, I train with one of the instructors right now. Typically, when we're not trying to like social distance and everything, I'll train with some
Yeah.
of the other instructors that are at the other
Hmm.
schools as well. We used to all like get together and just train in the mornings a couple times a week. So yeah, just
So
basically the other instructors.
has anybody from your school been in the Olympics?
No, one of the other masters, he used to
Mhm.
compete internationally, but
Okay.
that was it. So like a lot of our instructors, they all kind of have different backgrounds. Like one of the masters, he competed in Taekwondo internationally at one point. One of
Mhm.
our masters has a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. So like
Okay.
a lot of our instructors kind of came from different places. So I think that's what makes our school kind of more unique because we have just a nice blend of everything. I'm able to learn a lot of different stuff too.
Okay. So if your instructors come in from different backgrounds, do they also teach some of the things that they know from the other martial arts? I know you're
Yes.
talking about the weapon training. Do
Hmm.
you mix in a bit of jujitsu when you're doing your self defense, for instance?
Yes, yes. So we have like a specific self-defense curriculum, and it'll start kind of with like basic stuff, and then as you kind of get higher up in level, you'll start learning basic stuff on the ground, takedowns, and
Hmm.
submissions on the ground as well. So yeah, we
Okay.
definitely teach some basic jujitsu and stuff.
I'm going to read this out because it's quite interesting. So, oops, it's just gone back off my screen. Let me just bring that back. There we go. So it says, Alex helped me a lot a few years ago when I tore my ACL during sparring and needed surgery. She helped me stay positive and make a strong comeback. Now, did you realize that you had that kind of influence?
Yeah, sometimes I forget that I do have such a big influence on people, and I do get a lot of messages. I try to do my best to like reply to people through Instagram and on YouTube, just to
Hmm.
try to keep kind of help give them that extra little inspiration, not only just from my videos, but kind of give that personal touch of just kind of replying to them as well.
Gosh, well, that's interesting. So there's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders there.
Yes, yes,
Not only in your taekwondo, but whatever you do outside of it as well.
yes.
So, what's your next tutorial coming up?
Um, I've got
Spoiler
a
alert.
I'm still planning on I'm planning on doing some more at-home stuff. I've been trying to gear a little bit more towards doing things that don't require any equipment that people can do at home. So I've actually been filming a couple things in my apartment. Just try to doing some follow-along workouts, how to improve your kicks while you're stuck at home and no equipment. Trying just to really gear towards the situation right now because I don't want to put out like sparring tips right now because no one's sparring or doing anything like that. So I'm just trying to gear towards what's useful for people right now, along with just kind of just throwing up some videos of me training as well.
Okay. And brushing on sparring there, with the social distancing thing, how do you think that's going to affect sparring?
Yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see if it's going to really affect things in competition
Mm.
moving forward, how they're going to do that. So that'll definitely be interesting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen as far as that goes.
I mean, Pumse is not too bad because, of
Mhm.
course, I mean, you also have the option of doing Pumse online. We've
Mhm.
just noticed that the Lent sisters have organised the European Championships, which is wholly online. All the awards, the referees, everything is going to be online,
Mhm.
and you can do that, but
Yeah.
you can't spar unless you're in a ring.
No, you cannot spar unless you're in a ring. Definitely not.
So, do you think it's going to take a long time before we actually are able to get back in a ring, or you know, in a big training hall and have a competition?
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's not going to take too long because I miss sparring definitely.
Yeah,
But definitely want to make sure it's going to be safe though. So
yeah.
I think it's just going to depend on how everything turns out. Because I think in different parts of the world it's a little bit different everywhere. So I think it's
Hmm.
just going to depend. It's going to be case by case depending on where you're at.
Okay. Is there anyone in particular that you would like to collaborate with?
Um, I haven't really thought of that. I've been so busy. I haven't really been working on collabs too much recently, which I need to. I need to
Okay.
try to collab with people. I mean, really, kind of just anyone who's got like good taekwondo, just someone that's like taekwondo based that I can kind of collab with.
Hmm.
That way we can kind of feed off of each other and kind of maybe do like some similar tutorials, kind of tips here and there. But
Hmm.
I'm really kind of open to collabing with really anyone.
Okay. And we brushed on stretching a little bit. Um, can you do a box split?
No.
At least
No.
running. But you can't do a box split, but you can kick Bob in the head with a back kick.
Yes. I can
Okay.
kick pretty high, but I can't do the splits. I've definitely gotten more flexible over the last 2 years, but
Uh-huh.
not there yet. Not there yet.
Okay. Would one of your goals be to try and achieve that elusive box split?
Um, I mean, I would say yes, kind of. It's kind of one of my things I'm slowly working at. It's not a priority, I would say, but
Hmm.
it'd definitely be pretty cool to be able to kind of do the full splits. Yeah, to be able to do that.
There was something else that came into my head just going back a little bit. When you were talking about the destruction and the breaking of the bricks, do you actually get a choice of what your break is, or for every downgrade, is it a specific break that you have to do?
It's a specific break, so I had to break the 3 bricks. That was what I had to do
You had
for
to
the third
break
round.
3 bricks with an elbow strike.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
some of the other guys they sometimes will do a hammer fist, but since my wrist is pretty pretty small, they let me do the elbow strike.
And is it the same for the men as it is for the women?
Yes, so the guys still had to do 3 bricks as well.
Okay, well, that's interesting. And what about, does your age come into it? If you if you're a bit older, do you only have to do 1 brick?
No, no, no. Unless you're the only difference is if you're like a smaller kid and then an adult. That's the only differences.
Because I'm getting on a bit now, you see, and I'm just hoping that they're going to look after me as a martial artist in my old age and I don't end
Uh-huh.
up being injured. Have you ever took on any bad injuries in your training?
So the end of last year, I had a really bad quad injury. I got kneed in the leg during sparring, and like the next day I woke up and my whole quad and my knee was extremely swollen, and I couldn't like bend my leg at all. So I had a
Yeah.
really bad muscle injury to my quad, and that put me out about 6 weeks of training. It took me a long time to kind of rehab that and get that back to where it was. That was probably one of the worst ones. And then the year before that, I kicked someone's elbow during sparring, and I had a hairline fracture in the top of my foot. So that kind of set me back about 6 weeks as well, and then I was slowly worked back into training. So those are the two injuries I've had.
Okay, so absolutely fine. Smashing through 3 bricks, but tapping somebody on an elbow is a bit of a problem.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I get it. I'm not going to be sparring anybody anytime soon. So
Yeah.
when I do, I'll make sure I'm not kicking them on the elbow.
Do not kick someone in the elbow. It hurts.
To be honest, I've been kicked on the elbow, and that also hurts.
Uh-huh. I have too.
Yeah, to receive it, I suppose, is just as bad as doing it.
Definitely.
No, this is great. So we know how you're working in your YouTube. We know how you relax. We've touched upon your bucket list. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about yourself? You got any secrets that you could share? Share with your followers.
I mean, that's kind of really my whole life. It's in a way, it's kind of boring because that's kind of it. I teach, I train, and then I do YouTube videos. That's really all I do. That's kind of it. I stay busy enough with that, so that's kind of all I can keep up with right now.
Do you think one day that you might want to run your own school?
I mean, if I did, it would still be through the organization that I'm with right now, the school I'm with. If I would, whenever they open up some future locations, some additional ones, maybe eventually I'll run one of their locations. So yeah, that would definitely be something, in the future.
How long have they been going?
I think they've had their schools here. I don't know exactly how long. I think maybe like going on 5 to 7 years, possibly something around that time frame. I don't know exactly. Yeah.
There's a couple of guys that are saying that they want you to do a seminar in Malaysia. Would you be up for that?
Yeah, if someone can fly me there, I'll be happy to go anywhere. Traveling's expensive.
So all you need then is someone to sponsor it, and you're happy to. Have you done any seminars?
No, I haven't. I've had a couple people been interested, but just never anything we haven't like worked out details or anything to actually setting it up and everything. But yeah, I'm definitely happy to do seminars and travel around. Just all my travel costs would just have to be covered, obviously.
Yeah. Well, it's understandable. It's very understandable. So we're hoping that the future of Taekwondo isn't changed massively. But how long would you estimate before things get back to normal? Or do you think that they will ever be the same again?
I think they may get.
Somebody's offering to sponsor you here. You might want to take their name down.
I think things may eventually get close to normal eventually. I don't know if things will actually completely go back to normal, just the way everything is. I think it really just depends on how we come out of this, and when we do come out of this situation, and if it comes back in the winter, when it gets colder again, if it comes back like with flu season and everything in the winter towards the end of the year, the beginning of next year, just if it comes back and if it's just as bad. I think that's really gonna be our tell of how things will, if they will go back to completely normalcy, I think.
Okay. So just another couple of little things for you. So this is your first live interview ever. Is this correct? Yes. so we're privileged to have managed to have got you on the screen, which is great. Do you think that you'll go live again?
I mean, I definitely have plans to. I've been working on like some plans to like do some more lives, to start doing live stuff for my followers. Just a matter of just kind of organizing everything with my schedule right now, just with training and everything. I want to make sure it's a little more organized. But yeah, definitely do want to go live again and do some more stuff. Like I said, my goal for kind of my following social media and YouTube stuff for right now is just kind of connect a little bit more with my audience and my community.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions come through here. So one of them is, do you have your own merchandise?
No, I don't. It's definitely something. It's definitely something we've been thinking about, though. I've been thinking about that. Just haven't had the time to really pursue that yet, and really take that on yet.
Okay, and someone is asking, have you got any advice on sparring?
Advice for sparring, I would say the number one thing is you got to enjoy it. You have to really enjoy sparring first before you can really start working on like all the details and like worry about like really like winning and between winning and losing. I think the first thing, you just have to enjoy it, get experience with it, and then from there figure out what you need to, your areas that you need to work on. But I would say just really just enjoy it first.
And you were saying that you've entered the circuit. Is there anybody that you fear as an opponent?
No, I mean, I don't think I've competed too much enough yet at a higher level to like really have someone that I'm like fear yet. And I've improved so much in the last year. I'm kind of excited to like fight people who are a little bit higher level just to kind of see where I kind of compare with them. So in a way, I would like to fight someone at a higher level just so I can just get that experience, if anything.
Okay.
That's just kind of how I am right now.
What weight category do you spar at the moment?
Right now, this year I started fighting at minus 53 kilograms.